just me and the world's best tasting vodka.
Guys, welcome to season 3, another episode of Off the Dribble. I'm your boy, Byron Scott. My guest today, my God, I've known this young man since he was about 7, 8 years old.
Yep.
Saw him perform, and I was just like blown away. Alan Thicke, unbelievable musical genius.
Woo.
Also in the television. His dad, you guys might remember, Alan Thicke, who was on Growing Pains, one of the best actors and one of the greatest people I've ever met in my lifetime. I want to welcome my boy, Robin.
Thank you, B. Scott.
Thank you, my brother. Now, what I normally do is grab your glass. We got to salute.
Yes, sir.
To you being here. Thank you so much
Happy
again.
to be here, man.
Appreciate
God bless
you.
And to the family, too.
Speaking of family, how's your kids? Everybody good?
Yeah, man, my kids are thriving right now. You know, my 12-year-old son just got an award for his social studies class for being the top historian, in his school, in his grade. And I have 3 other kids, Mia, who's 4 years old, Lola, who's 3, and Luca, who's 1.5.
Right.
So the house is filled with laughter and tears
and hard work and pain.
Pulling and biting and scratching. And there's a lot of that going on. But it's a great era for me, because I spent a lot of my young life just being worried about myself, my career, my music, my legacy. And now my legacy is all with these beautiful kids and, putting all of my time and attention into making them the best albums I ever made.
Yeah. Ain't it amazing how our focus changed when we have kids, man? You stop thinking about you so much, and you think about them. You think how to take care of them.
How to take care of them, not just this year, but for the
life.
Next 20 years. Everything, to pay for weddings. Like, I got money on my mind now.
Start putting money away, dog, because the wedding prices by the time they get there,
man, this struggling artist thing is not going to work. You know what I mean?
Listen, I got to tell you guys a story. Robin and I, we like I said, we go so far back. And like I mentioned earlier, Alan Thicke was a great friend of mine who was involved in the charity that I used to do in Orange County. We had a club called the Varsity Club, and we helped nothing but battered women, Chalk Hospital, and Alan was a big part of that. And every year he would bring Robin to our gala, and our gala was black tie and tennis shoes. It was the coolest gala in Orange County. And Robin, being young, 7, 8 years old, Alan would bring Robin and just let him loose. He would have his little tuxedo on with his little tennis shoes, and he would run all over the damn place, right?
And let's just say I was fairly social. I was not an introvert.
No, he was not an introvert at all, right? And I would literally have to grab him and say, Robin, go sit down somewhere, because he was just having fun.
I got intimidated once because, I was, 7, 8 years old, and you're huge to a 7-year-old. Now we're a little closer to even. So I wouldn't be as intimidated. But I remember you grabbed me. I was like, "Oh, please don't hurt me, big man. Don't hurt me, Dad." Big man grabbed me, told me to sit down. Well, that's his charity. So.
Yeah, that was my charity. But that was like part of the family. He was family, and it was a great charity. But just speaking of your great dad, and what he did in Hollywood, in the acting industry. How was that being raised in a household, with Alan Thicke and his persona at that time?
Well, what was great about my dad was that acting was his last accomplishment. He was a writer, he was a producer, he was behind the scenes, he wrote theme songs. Then he was a TV host. He was a daytime talk show host.
Wow.
In Canada, he always said, "I had the highest rated talk show in Canada. I was the Oprah of Canada, Robin." And so then they tried to bring his daytime show to a nighttime talk show here in America. He did okay against Letterman, but then he went up against Carson and got killed in the ratings. And then coincidentally, he was going in to ABC and selling a game show or something, right? Which he always had a new show he was selling around town.
Right.
And so ABC says, we don't like your game show, but we're doing auditions next door for this TV show that needs a father, and we think you might be good for it because people always liked my dad.
Right.
But he wasn't an actor.
Right.
His first acting job literally was Growing Pains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
When he was 40 years old.
Wow.
Everything before that was hosting.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just remember him on Growing Pains, and I thought that's something he'd been doing all his life.
No, he was a writer. He created this show Fernwood Tonight in Canada, which was like a Saturday Night Live in Canada. It was very successful for a few seasons and had all these young stars like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Michael J. Fox. All these guys auditioned for my dad before they were big stars because my dad was the writer and producer of this late night comedy show. So, you know, he would tell me stories, but I remember Jim Carrey coming in. He was still too kind of crazy at the time. His act hadn't been honed, and so he wasn't right for us. But Robin Williams was amazing the first time he came out. So he had all this historic Hollywood lore and these amazing stories to tell because he started behind the scenes, and then he did talk shows. So of course, then he saw all the stars when he was doing talk shows. I think he said like the Red Hot Chili Peppers first time they ever performed was on his late night show. You know, so he had all these little claims. Oh, and my dad, the really cool factor, the cultural factor was my dad's sideman on his late night talk show was Arsenio Hall.
Get out of here.
And Arsenio Hall got his own talk show from being my dad's right-hand man on his late night talk show.
Get out of here.
So there's a lot of cool Hollywood culture that my dad was a part of. And
cool.
He loved Hollywood. He was out every night. He was at the Forum Club. He was at Byron Scott's Varsity Club. My dad would eat dinner and I'm out. I am out, son. I will see you.
I saw him a number of places, you know, and it was cool, because we would always connect and be like, "What's up?" And then we go our separate ways. He do his thing, I do my thing. But yeah, he was out there a little bit. Next
to a picture of we outside, it should just be my dad.
Okay, so speaking of, I mean, your dad was so cool though, man.
He was the best, man.
He was so cool. How did you not go that route early, and how did you get into music?
Well, my mom is a singer. My mom had a #1 song in the 80s, So I'll Be Your Friend. Okay. And she sang with Carl Anderson. So she was always a very soulful white singer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, I come from like 6 generations of white people trying to be black in my family. My grandfather was a jazz trumpet player. His father was a jazz trumpet player. My mom was a white, soulful lady. My dad is, soulful white man. We've been trying to be soulful forever. We're just starting to get it right.
You were able to get it right, that's for sure.
We're just getting it right now.
So you got into music at an early age, obviously.
Yeah,
I know in high school.
I had the voice. When I was 7, 8 years old, I could sing and I could impress the kids on the school bus, and and I always, there's certain kids in the family that want to sing at every holiday. They have a song or a dance routine or something for every Christmas and holiday. So that was always me. And then I just went for it when I was about 13, 14 years old. I taught myself to play piano.
Right.
I did a couple demos, and Brian McKnight was working in the studio next to me. So he helped me get a record deal with Interscope Records and helped me curate my first album when I was about 15, 16 years old. That album didn't come out because it wasn't that great. I retooled, and I worked for a lot of other people, writing and producing for other people. When I was from 16 to 22, I had like 25 gold and platinum records on other artists. And then I was like, I'm going to put all my attention into my own music again. And that's when I met Andre Harrell, who really changed my life and career. And we lost Andre 2 years ago. But he really taught me how to walk, talk, and be an artist and a performer. An entertainer and all that stuff.
Wow.
Well, my dad was a natural entertainer.
Oh yeah,
but
so you got that naturally.
Yeah.
You got that naturally.
That's in the blood.
Right.
That's why I'm doing all this TV now, because I'm like, all I have to do is my best impersonation of my dad.
Right. And you do it well.
Can't
you do it well.
Bad.
So getting into TV, the Masked Singer. I know you must love that, because I've watched you on that, and you seem to have a lot of fun trying to figure this shit out with these guys.
I love that show, and I'll tell you why. I show up, I put on a suit, I watch people do these amazing performances in the craziest costumes you've ever seen. And then I tell a bunch of jokes. I make fun of Ken as much as I can and Nick. And then I go home and, they pay me. It's literally like I'm the class clown. I used to get kicked out of class for doing what I do now, and now they pay me.
See, you know what? I could see that. At 7, 8 years old, I could see that.
Oh, I was
when you was running around then, I could see that you was going to be having little trouble in high school. Messing with people and everything. I just
liked performing and getting attention and all that, so it just... I wanted it.
So the first album.
So the first album, I meet Andre when I'm around 22, 23 years old. And we start working on, my album. And then that came out in 2004, no, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of hype around the album. Like we had, because of Andre and all his friends, you know, he was friends with Puff and Naomi,
right.
and he knew all the magazines, and we were getting all this buzz, and Rolling Stone said it's Marvin Gaye backed by Radiohead. I mean, you can't get much of a better quote than that.
Right.
And then the album didn't sell, it didn't connect. You know, people on the underground, they loved the long hair video, riding the bike in New York, and so it was an underground vibe thing. But we didn't sell no records, and Interscope spent a lot of money on it.
Right.
So then there's this lull, and a few years go by, and I really did a lot of soul searching. I started doing yoga a lot, and really kind of, you know, figuring out who I was, and that's when the evolution of Robin Thicke, that album came, and that changed my career. I had my first #1 song. I went on Oprah twice. You know, then that's when it all took off.
Yeah, great album.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Great album.
It's a good one.
Is there anybody yet, you know, in doing all your music that you've done that you haven't collaborated with that you would love to?
Well, there's always like a Dr. Dre or I would love to do, you know, something with The Weeknd or Drake or some of those guys, you know.
The Weeknd, that would be tight.
Drake did a mixtape remix of one of my songs, you know, back in the day. But yeah, but for the most part, I've been very blessed, especially from a lot of the cats from my generation, whether it's Busta or Lil Wayne or Jay-Z or A$AP Rocky or all that. You know, I got to work with all those guys at least once.
Yeah. Well, that's
Snoop,
good. That's saying
you know
something.
I mean? Yeah,
Snoop.
so I got a list that's pretty legitimate.
Yeah.
Rick Ross, I got records. You know,
Boss.
I got Rick Ross record.
So you left the house at 17 years old. You know, how did that work out? Because I know, again, I know Alan. You know, I know that couldn't have been great or something that he agreed on or something that he just thought was.
He wasn't excited about it. He had a new wife, and I, being a teenager, there was, you know, struggles with friction. Me having kids over and his new wife, Gina, and then I had just got a record deal when I was 16, so I was getting paid, and a publishing deal, so I had money. And I'm like, well, why do I need to live at home? I can afford an apartment, I can blah, blah, blah. So I moved out when I was 17, a year earlier than my dad would have liked. And then of course the funny thing, I had this big deal with this, you know, not on the up European businessman, let's say, and he had a daughter, and he wanted to make an album for his daughter, so he flew me out to Marbella, Spain when I'm like 17, 18 years old. And I worked with his daughter for like a month to make this album. I get home, I'm waiting on a huge check. Check never comes.
Uh-oh.
So I got to go back and live with my dad for like 4 months, 5 months. I had to go back with my tail between my legs. And then luckily some opportunities to write and produce for other people came in, and I started. But yeah, those are interesting times. But I was a very confident young man. You know, I knew it wasn't like I was taking daddy's trust fund money and doing drugs. You know what I mean? I was literally working 12, 14 hours a day, you know, when I was young.
You've been in this business for a while now.
Yes, sir.
You know, at a very early age until this particular point in your life. What's the most satisfying album that you think you've made with some of the guys that you have collaborated with that you kind of put your heart and soul into? Well,
my music has always been very personal. I mean, the one time I kind of went for a pop album when I worked with a bunch of other producers was the Blurred Lines album. I worked with Pharrell and Timbaland and Will.i.am, and because I've always written and produced my own music. But that album, I said, let me just work with all the best producers and see if we get a big hit. And we did.
And you did, yeah.
We did.
You did.
But my music is more, it's so personal to me, and each album and each state of my life is described in the lyrics within the album. But I'd say the most pivotal album would be The Evolution, because everything in my life was going like this, and the first album was supposed to be a big success, and then it just went like that. And so I really had to do a lot of soul searching and figure out what was I making music for. Was I only making it to be a star or to be loved, or was I making it for the music? And a lot of these real soul searching, spiritual, working on myself songs came out in The Evolution. So, and some of the songwriting is just the best I ever did.
Yeah. Lost Without You, is that one of those songs?
Yeah.
Because that was That shit was tight.
Yeah, that's
and I know it was personal.
That's the
jam. But that song, when I first heard it, I was like, man, Robert's killing this one.
Yeah, I have a cute story about that. I remember Bono had just won album and record of the year for "It's a Beautiful Day," and the day after the Grammys, Jimmy Iovine invited me up to his office. And Pharrell was there and Bono's there, and Pharrell says, and I had sung this song for Pharrell a cappella. I still hadn't even recorded the vocal.
And this is Lost Without You?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I for some reason, I never wanted to record the vocal. I'd always sing it for people live, and I wouldn't put the vocal down. And so, but by then, I had the vocal. So Pharrell says, play that Lost Without You song. So I put it on, and Bono he leans back. He's got a cigarette. Well, this is a very important album. And that was the beginning of that journey.
Man, listen, first of all, your voiceovers are pretty damn good. You got your dad, you got Bono. We're going to try to hit a few more.
I love Bono because he never repeats himself. You know, some people go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Bono just says, I'm a poet, and when I speak, I don't say it again. You just have to take it and go do some homework. Yeah, because then I said some other artistic shit that was cool, and he goes, you should go home and write that song. I said, thank you, Bono. Bono just gave me homework.
You got to love Bono. You got to love Bono.
Man.
Hey, listen.
What's not to love?
We're going to come back in a minute with more from Robert Thicke. This is the Byron Scott. Oh, shit. See, he got me. This is Off the Dribble with your boy, B. Scott. We're going to come back with Robert in a minute. Black Widows are conglomerates of attorneys and investigators that have always been community-based. They started from a personal traumatic loss, and that has spiraled into a platform from human dignity and rights. When they say there is no chance, Black Widow will take matters into their own hands and will find a way to rectify the wrongs and produce positive results beyond any boundaries while also paying it forward. Black Widow handles motorcycle injuries, car accidents, trips and falls, all criminal matters, family law, workers' compensation, restraining orders, and all other legal matters. In an industry where money rules and basic given rights are overcome by greed, they strive to make it about humanity by repeatedly educating and informing the masses as to their rights. If you have ever felt that raging anger like you've been done wrong, that's the fire that fuels this team. When you're done listening to all the rest, call us for the blunt truth. Call 844-NO-CHANCE or reach out via our Instagram at BlackWidow_investigations. When others say no chance, we're on your team. Welcome back, guys. Again, the season 3 podcast, Off the Dribble with your boy, B. Scott. I'm here with my boy, Robin Thicke. Man, we've been having a ball. This man impersonations are off the chain. I want to know if you can do Snoop, if you can do Pharrell, if you can do Dr. Dre.
I'm no Jamie
Foxx. Yeah, Jamie's pretty good at that shit.
I might be able to do Snoop, though, because he has a recognizable voice, but I'd have to be in the flow of telling a Snoop story.
All right, well, let's get back to this amazing career that this man has, which is not even nowhere near over. It's really still just beginning.
Thank you.
He's got so much more music in him, and I'm one that's waiting on the next one to come out, that's for sure. But let's go back to 9 years ago, 2013. You came out with Blurred Lines.
Yes.
Number 1 hit.
Yes.
How'd that come about?
Well, Pharrell and I had a 3-day session, and we made 3 records. And then about 8 or 9 months had gone by, and I made a bunch of other records with like will.i.am and a handful of other people. But I always felt, anytime I made a playlist of my new album, I always put Blurred Lines first. I always just felt like there was something about it that was really different and special. I remember I played it for Jimmy Iovine, and he loved it. What did he call it? He said, it sounds like Elvis Costello or something. What a record. There's nothing that sounds like that. But Jimmy didn't quite, nobody had heard it, but nobody said that's a smash, right? And so we get to, my manager says, I just think this song is a hit, but Interscope doesn't want to pay for the video. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Interscope wouldn't cut the check to pay for a video for Blurred Lines.
And video was off the chain, too.
So my manager says, don't worry, I found them, I get the money. He was that kind of guy. So he gets the money for the video, gets Diane Martel. Diane Martel shoots the video. A week later or whatever, I get a call at 7:30 in the morning, which I don't get calls at 7:30 in the morning. Definitely not back then before I had kids and so many kids. And he calls. He says, "Robin, I just saw the video for Blur. Your life is about to change. This is going to be a #1 record all around the world. This is the greatest video you've ever made. It's going to be #1 everywhere." And yeah,
he was right.
He was right. But that's also the power of those big machines.
Yeah.
When you combine quality with the person who can press a button and spend the money to get it
out everywhere
with a commercial. And then he was like, "We're gonna do a Beats commercial. We're gonna shoot the same. I want all the same people from the video. We're gonna shoot a commercial because we need more eyes on this record." And the cool thing was about it ended up setting the record for the most spins in 1 week, and it was the first record ever to hold the #1 spot on radio on all 5 formats.
Wow.
Uptown Funk came after that and did it also.
Wow.
But we were the first song in the history of radio to connect the whitest people and the blackest people.
Well, the great thing about your music is it does connect to all audiences.
Yeah.
You got black people loving it, you got white people loving it, you got everybody loving it, and I think a lot of it's because of your style. Obviously over the years, you've gotten so many people that love to just listen to you sing and watch you on videos.
Nice,
it's got to feel good to know that you have connected with so many people in the world.
Well, I think what's really nice about music is that, you could have a big album, but there's still 300 million people that didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about how deep the connection you have with the people you connect with, And I think you just keep sharing. And once in a while, one thing just connects more than the others.
Yeah.
But you're really just shooting for how much can I share and how much can I connect.
Yeah. You talked about this a little bit earlier, and I really didn't get a definitive answer, and you didn't give one. But
probably
you talked about what were you doing the music for? You know what I'm saying? Is it because I have a passion for music, or am I trying to connect with the white audience, or am I trying to connect with the black audience?
Right.
What is the answer?
Well, for me, that's what Andre helped me find, because I just had all these ideas and they just flew out of me. You know what I mean? And then it was more about, well, how do you focus your energy into actually connecting with people, so when they're singing your words, they're singing their own life, or when they're singing your words on the dance, or when you say a great phrase that everyone wants to say on the dance floor, they all stop and look at each other and scream at each other in the face. You bring people together. You make friendships tighter, you make love feel better. So I like to I just try to emote however I'm feeling, and if I'm feeling sexy, then I'll sing sexy. If I'm feeling down, then you might feel that pain,
Right.
But if I'm having a good time and being silly, you'll feel that in the vocal,
Yeah, that's what I thought when I heard "Lost Without You."
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought about, is knowing you. I was like, all right, he's got some pain going on.
Yeah.
But there are so many people who can relate to that pain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once they do, you've pretty much got them.
Yeah.
Because now if you hit them on a personal note.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so great about your music, is that you're not afraid, to me, to kind of let yourself out there.
Yeah.
And kind of show people, listen, I'm a human being. I go through shit too.
Yeah.
I have my good days, my bad days, and I'm gonna sing about it. Because there's somebody out there who can relate to that. And I think that's the thing that I love about your music.
Well, all of my favorite artists, they sang about the troubles of the world or the troubles they have in their own life, and the effort and to turn it into something positive, to turn it into something beautiful, to turn it back into love, to turn pain into love, to turn hopelessness into hope. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's really the goal of life. I feel hopeless often, and you have to remind yourself, you have to get out of those rhythms, and you have to build hope in yourself.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that comes out in the music. Comes out in the music too.
Right. So we talked about,
and you want people to feel less alone. That's the beautiful. Like I remember,
they're not alone. You're right.
Sitting with my Walkman,
right?
When I was a kid.
Walkman,
yeah,
that's
Let's
old.
Go
now
back.
You're really talking about.
Let's go back before the iPod. I'd lay in bed and I'd listen to Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder, and I wasn't alone. You know what I mean? They're singing to me. I understand what they're saying. I can feel the music. So I just want to give that back to the world.
Yeah. You just mentioned some unbelievable artists, because my next question was, who are your favorite, past and present?
Most of my artists are kind of old school, you know. Yeah. But obviously, I mean, I love what cats do these days. But I guess I just being raised on the Al Green and the Bill Withers and the, you know, that's and Aretha and Nina Simone. You know, those are that's my stuff.
Man, see, I'm sure
because all those are painful singers,
yeah,
like Mary J.
Nina Simone,
Mary J. can sing "Happy Birthday" and make it sound like the most painful gospel soulful experience you've ever heard.
But I know a lot of y'all in there, when you heard Nina Simone, probably going, "Who's that? Look her up."
Yeah, they look.
You talk about a bad woman.
That's they one.
Man, y'all got to look her up. We know about Marvin Gaye and all the other ones that Robin just talked about, but look up Nina Simone. That was a bad woman.
Piano playing,
yes.
Songwriting.
Yes.
You know, she wrote it. It's a bitch, girl, and you're going too far, and you know it don't matter. She wrote that song. She wrote a lot of.
Yeah, that was a bad girl.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about "Take Me Higher."
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
another
Pharrell record. Remember, I said we did 3 days back 9 years ago or whatever, and "Take Me Higher" was on the second day. We did "Take Me Higher," and the third day we did "Blurred Line." But then we hooked back up 5 years or 6 years later when I was working on this album, and he. We went back in the studio because I was like, I think it needs more horns, more guitar, a little more energy, because the stuff I was making had a lot of horn, you know, a lot of that live music, live band kind of stuff. So we added some horns, added some guitar, and just beefed it up a little bit.
Yeah. So what are you working on now, Robin? I know you got stuff. Not only let me finish this quick. Before, I know you got music on your mind, right? Because that's just you. Yeah. You know, that's your life. That's what you do. That's what you are. But from a TV as well, movies and things of that nature, what are some of the other things that you got going on?
Well, I've been doing a lot of the TV stuff because it just I've become very comfortable. I used to hold on so tight to my artistry, and I thought I had to be really cool, and I didn't like doing silly things on TV because you know I was a serious artist.
Right.
But the great thing about The Masked Singer just wiped all of that. Working with Ken and just bringing out, because I'm really a goofy, silly guy. My dad's a comedian, you know, and so I come from a very silly, you know, family. So it really opened up the opportunity for me to show a whole other side of myself. Right. And now I've totally embraced it. Now I love being, you know, that other version. Yeah, just being myself and being comfortable in my own skin in a way that I wasn't 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
So music-wise, what do you got coming out next? What are you working on?
I'm always working on a couple projects. But right now I've actually been, I just did a live album of the On Earth and Heaven album about 6 weeks ago. And I'm planning on recording more live albums this year, and then really working on the live show, you know, because after 2 years with COVID and everything, I just felt like it was time to really get out there and do as many live shows as possible. So can we turn on a little air in here?
Yeah.
A little sweaty.
Robin getting hot. Y'all need to cool it down in here a little bit. I think it's the Nest vodka, but...
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
No, just talking about the music part.
So but right now, you know, it's kind of hard to balance the TV stuff, the music, and the family stuff, because if I do too much music and TV, then the family gets put aside. So my goal right now is to if I'm doing TV, do TV and family. If I'm not doing the TV stuff, then I can do music and family. But I can't do all three at the same time.
Right. Robert, so where are we at with the music? I know you got so many things going on, but music-wise, where are we?
Well, it's been a little hard to create new stuff. I do have a catalog of a bunch of old songs that I've been reworking and finishing, and then I've been doing a lot of live album stuff that I'm working on. But for the most part, man, my kids are just taking up, you know, a lot of my heart space and my time. So if I'm doing the TV, I can do TV and family. Or if I'm making music, I can do music and family, but I can't really do all three at the same time because the family suffers too much.
Right. You guys understand that? Did you hear that? Don't suffer. Don't let the family suffer. You know, other aspects of your life, okay, but you never let the family suffer. Robin understands that now. That hey,
don't
listen,
get me wrong.
Family comes first, though.
Yeah, but if they call with a check, family needs that check. We go.
Call with a check, family. You'd be like, family, hold up now. Let me go get this money.
I gotta go to Atlanta I'll come back. For 5 days. Okay, I'll see you guys in 5 days. Gotta get that check.
So when the music, like you just said, you hit family music or family TV.
Yeah.
You know, never music TV. It's always family involved in there.
Families. Yeah.
So I just want to know, because I know the music is tight. TV is something that you seem like you enjoy now.
Yeah.
Is there something else on the horizon besides the mask?
I'm kind of letting those things just come because I haven't had some great idea of a role that I need to play. I try to focus on things that inspire me, that get me excited, or if somebody calls and just wants me to show up and be Robin Thicke, for a few hours, I'll take it, But sometimes also when you've made 8 albums as I have, there's a sense of trying to make sure you don't repeat yourself. But also you want to be honest and true to the music you like making. So sometimes that process it's a little slower as the years go by. You know what I mean? And now that because when I was younger, I could just sit in the studio 12, 14 hours. Now I got 4, 5, 6 hours, you know what I mean, around all the other stuff I got to do.
Right.
So it's a little less time to get it done, so it takes a little longer.
Yeah, and I'm sure you don't want to cheat your fans, because you want to make the music as great as you can possibly make it for your fans as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Robin, man, this has been fun. Let me ask you a question on things outside of the family and outside of music, things you might be doing charity-wise or other projects that's going on with you.
Yeah, always doing a lot of charity stuff. Red Cross, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Red Cross, because when I lost my home in the Malibu fires, and anytime there's a fire or a disaster or flooding, or Red Cross shows up and gives people what they need to survive. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah, no, Red Cross is a great organization. Yeah. They have a golf tournament at Lakeside. Every year. Which I get a chance to play in, because I love trying to do as much as I can for charity as well, as I've been doing all my life, even when you were 7 years old.
Oh, I know. You've always been wonderful in the community and always done such great things.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to tell you guys something. This has been a pleasure being able to sit down with Robin after all these years. And we were able to connect this because we were at Catch Restaurant together, Robin and his fiance, me and my wife. And I think even our boy Dave Winfield,
you're with Dave
Winfield, who's a friend of the show, who's been on the show as well,
Dave's
was there, and we got a chance to take a picture together and say hello to each other. And
I always love seeing you guys, because it immediately makes me think of my dad. Like my dad's friends from Marcus Allen, Wayne Gretzky, Magic Johnson. Like I remember Magic, when my dad passed, Magic said that my dad was the first celebrity he met when he came to LA. Like at the Forum Club.
Right,
my dad was there the first night that Magic played, and at my dad.
Like I said, I used to see him at the Forum Club too every
night.
He was a fixture at the Forum Club, but he
lived a good life.
I'll tell you what,
my dad, he right to the end, the last weekend before he passed. He traveled. He came home. He got up in the morning to play hockey with his 20-year-old son, and his heart gave out while he was playing hockey with his son. Wow. So, can't get more poetic than that.
No,
he was a hockey man till the end.
Yeah,
literally.
Unbelievable, man. I saw him. I think about a couple of weeks before at Marcus Allen's golf tournament, and we were reminiscing about the varsity club and having a chance to talk about that. So. Again, one of the greatest guys I've ever met, man. Just true pioneer.
Yeah. He was good to the bone.
Yeah,
good to the bone.
Yeah. So, again, guys, I want to thank Robin for coming on to the show. I appreciate this, brother, man.
Always.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, season 3, Off the Dribble with your boy Byron Scott, my guest Robin Thicke, and we will see you next time. God bless.